welcome to Reelin Films. I do hope that you enjoy this video. Don't forget, if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell. Like that you guys can get notified for anything and everything movie and series related here at Reel in Films. I hope you enjoy this video.
Hola, John. Mucho gusto.
Hey, how are you doing, Paul?
I'm doing great, actually. I've been enjoying these interviews.
That's great. So today we're going to be talking about your film, The Night They Came Home, a phenomenal film with phenomenal cast. So just wanted to start off the bat. What inspired you to bring this film to the people?
Well, I mean, in all honesty, a producer I've worked with in the past called me up and sent me the script by John Russo. I read the script, I loved it. Then I read the novel that he used to write the script, a best-selling Amazon novel, and I was just so totally enamored with this time period and with that Oklahoma, Arizona territory and what was going on. The fact that there were more Indian, Black, even Asian police at the time. Whites were the least amount of police at the time. So I just dived in wholeheartedly and studied the history of the times, and then got into the Rufus Buck gang and read everything I could about them. And I was blown away by all of this. And then I got into Taylor Sheridan's shows like 1883 and 1923, which also touched the times, and learned about the Indian schools. I mean, all I had known previously was Jim Thorpe, who went in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and his is an amazing story. But the majority of the stories were horrific, of course, and then just trying to make them lose their heritage and their language and everything. So I just saw this opportunity to bring it out and to not excuse the Rufus gang for what they did, but to make people understand a little bit more that it was everything they did was done to them, done to them, and a lot more. And so it didn't excuse it, but it was in a line from the movie. It was the seed of all evil, which grew and grew and grew and finally blossomed into their reign of terror. So
Okay. Do you get to speak with like people that probably I'm not gonna say because but by those times I imagine that whoever I don't imagine that nobody would be alive in these times now, but by any chance that you speak with any type of like historians or anything just to like get digging more into this like story?
well, just what I was able to find online, and I did find quite a bit online, and I'm pretty good at research. So yeah, I found things. The closest thing to talking to somebody with things written then. There's a website that actually has things written then, and so yeah, I read that along with things written modern about then. But I really immersed myself wholeheartedly, and the fact that Peter Shirayko, who played George Maladon, he has the collection of all things Western. He has every bit of wardrobe you would want, all the saddles, the guns, the furniture, every single thing you could possibly want. He has, which made my job so much easier. And if anything came on the set that wasn't true, he'd say it. He'd tell you. He'd stop everything and say, "Oh no, that they wouldn't wear that." So I was very thankful to have him there and all of everything he could supply. To basically immerse ourselves in the old West. Um, yeah,
Okay. Now, how was it piggybacking on that? How was it working with the whole cast and crew?
it was a pleasure. Um, I was so lucky to have found the Rufus gang. Of course, with Charlie being the most lucky. Charlie virtually channeled the Rufus Buck character as far as I'm concerned. I mean, he did his own research, of course, but he was amazing. The whole gang was amazing. And Tim Abell, who played Heck Thomas, was also amazing. I've worked with Tim. I first worked with Tim in 1992, a show that I directed way back when. And then I worked with him in between. So we have a good relationship. And well, we were constantly rewriting things that had to do with the gang. Charlie, if any of the gang or Charlie, and it was mostly Charlie, didn't feel 100% about anything, we would discuss it and we would change it. And that came right down to the very ending, to the scene you're talking about where he gets captured. In fact, it was a huge problem for most of the show about how was he going to capture him, because Charlie felt that Tim didn't necessarily have the well, that Tim may not really. Charlie was a strong young man. Tim was kind of an older man, but so we were going back and forth, back and forth. How do we make it true? How do we really capture him? Because that wasn't the way he got captured by numerous people in real life. It wasn't just him being captured by Tim. But finally, that last moment before the sun went down, we all came to an agreement that it was going to go down this way. Tim was happy, Charlie was happy, I was happy, and it happened. And it happened right before the sun came down. So I don't know,
So,
I've gone off here a little bit.
so Paul, do you think that directors nowadays should think to work with the actors more often, like that the film can go ahead and move forward a little better?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that 100%. I also see where sometimes you may not have the time because this, as you probably realize, was not a big budget. And sometimes you just have to work your hardest to get it on film and finish it. And hope to God that things are playing true. And, because that's the bottom line, is finding the truth. Um, Not all actors necessarily come with their own ideas and their, some just want to be directed, some just want to be fed, and then they react, but I'm 100% open to working with the actors so they feel good about what they're doing. I mean, even the DP, we speak well. We were constantly going over things and talking about things, and sometimes he'd say, well, I think maybe it would be better if we did this, or and I'm 100% open. It's a project. It's not just really, it's not just one person. You have to be strong in your conviction, but you have to be able to also open up, and if you don't feel it, then you hopefully have to explain why you don't feel it. Hopefully you have enough time to do that. So
So were there any challenges while filming?
well, every day was a challenge because of the time allotted to do this, but because I've been working in this field for so many years, and because I had Morgan Schmidt as my DP and a fairly good first AD, we were able to deal with the time thing. It's that's the problem in this, level of filmmaking. You're always settling. And I think I was hopefully able to settle less and get what I really wanted in this. I mean, there was definitely some magic that happened one way or the other, just by everybody focusing, and well, what we were all bringing to the table, really kind of showed forth. But yeah, this kind of filmmaking every day is a challenge. When you have such a wonderful script, which is the foundation, I'd say that's everything. Your script is everything, and then the actors. Um, Everything else can suffer slightly if you have the good script and you have the good acting. Everything else can suffer to a point, you know. Yeah.
Okay, and my final question would be, if you could describe this film with one word, what would it be?
Well, it's truth, because it is based on the truth, and because I think that I think the gang and Tim Abell, who played Heck Thomas, were almost channeling those characters, those people, those long dead people. It seemed like they had a connection with them, and that's part of the whole magic that seemed to be happening, during the day. So truth, and that's a word that always has to be there when you're making a movie.
That's amazing. Paul, thank you very much for giving us the time to talk about The Night They Came Home.
Thank
And
you.
it was an honor to interview you today.
Likewise, an honor and a pleasure. Enjoyed it very much.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.